thing that I would say is to allow the students to share their arrangements, earpieces, or compositions during their lesson. The reason that I have this little picture up here, if you can't see it, it's a little colonial soldier with a gun, and then there's a pirate with a sword, and then there's a little treasure chest. And I put that there because a couple weeks ago I had a student come in and he had a handful of Lego men. And I kind of glanced at him at first, and he had an astronaut, and then he had a spaceship that he had created, and then he had a Native American. And he hid him behind his back and he said, "Mrs. Wendy, I want you to guess what my pieces are about." And so he started to play them, and I said, well, you know, how am I going to guess if I can't see these guys? And so we decided that he could put them on the piano, and so he put them all on the piano, and he had a series of 3 pieces that he played for me, and one of them was about a colonial guy who met a pirate, and they were dialoguing back and forth, and it was quite creative. But do you know what happened to the rest of his lesson after I let him share that with me? What do you think happened? Was that?
He was excited.
Absolutely. Everything that we did was awesome to him. The rest of the lesson, he was just excited. And I would suggest if you just let them share every once in a while, it doesn't have to be every week. If you just say maybe the first Monday of every, or not first Monday, the first week of every lesson will be the week that you allow them to share compositions. You only need to do it every once in a while, and maybe it'll take 5 minutes, but 5 minutes, you know, every month is really not that much time. And so if it's, you know, you would just announce to the group that it's just Music Monday on the first Monday of every, Composition Monday on the first Monday of every lesson, sometimes that's effective. So then the fourth thing is if a student has created a piece, especially if they worked hard on a piece, ask them to share it at a performance class or a studio class. Now I don't let students just come up there and doodle. That's not what I'm letting them do. If they've actually gone through you know, the composition process and really thought out a good composition, they've got a nice form, it makes sense, they remember it from week to week and it doesn't sound different every single week. And especially if we've written it down, I like to reward them by allowing them to play it in some sort of a class. So that's just affirming to them. And the fifth thing is be creative yourself. Now that doesn't mean, Sharon's laughing, it doesn't mean that you have to compose. That's not what I'm suggesting. All I'm suggesting is that you do something new in your studio periodically. Maybe you come up with a new game, maybe you have a theme recital, maybe, I don't know, there's all kinds of things that you could do in your studio that's creative. But the idea is, if you don't do anything new, then you're kind of uninspiring to the student. And if you're uninspiring, they're uninspired, and your lessons sort of become drab and the same old, same old. And this has happened to me, it happens to me periodically, and it just reminds me that I need to do something new in my lessons. So be creative yourself, and that usually encourages the student to be more creative as well.